sure there's cool graffiti in Toronto laneways, and I often pass through them on my bike, but I gotta say, compared to some cities, they could certainly use an upgrade. And the Toronto Laneway project is trying to do just that. Let's face it, in our genre world, laneways have a really bad rap. They're seen as dark and dangerous places, teeming with villains, corruption, and crime. Part of the underworld. But the Laneway project is trying to turn around that image and turn our back alleys into places we all want to visit. Ever since I was a young boy, I've loved laneways. That's true. So what do you guys do with this project?
What we're really trying to do is draw the public's attention to the opportunity that the laneways have and think about, well, what could they be used for? In Toronto, we really kind of forget about the opportunity that the laneways represent. They're kind of this hidden layer of public space that we have, and there's not a lot of people that are usually walking through here. You know, we're here, there's someone standing outside here taking a smoke break, and that's, you know, kind of what they're usually used for. But in a lot of cities around the world, they're looking now at their laneway spaces and thinking, well, this is a real opportunity.
The Laneway project was inspired by the revitalization of laneways in Melbourne, Australia, a city that joins some in Europe and even some American cities like Seattle and Chicago in their passion for maximizing urban space. Where did all this get started?
We're all sort of dealing with public space, and we were all sort of, you know, we were all aware of the laneways and thinking, well, you know,
I ran out of space.
Better. Surely someone has taken this on, and we gradually realized that no one had really taken it on. It's because no one's really sure who has responsibility of them, what you can and cannot do in a laneway. And so we sort of thought, okay, right, no one's doing anything about this. Now we're doing something about this.
So what's the journey been like thus far, especially in tackling those, you know, jurisdictional ambiguities in terms of who controls the laneway?
There's a lot of people who do kind of see that potential, are already excited about kind of the work that we're doing. But when it comes to the city side and other folks that actually have jurisdiction, again, same thing, there's a lot of people that are excited about that potential, but at the same time, there's a lot of kind of hurdles and things you have to negotiate. You know, those are barriers that we're trying to negotiate as an organization, do all that kind of hard legwork, so other folks can kind of just come in and do the kinds of exciting, fun things they want to do. You know, we're working with a
river going down the laneway behind you.
And see, this is obviously not so pleasant to look at, but it's serving a purpose, right? The laneway is they're dumping wastewater.
Yeah, I don't know how to drink that water. What do you think? Did you see a couple of tables and chairs there? Maybe
Yeah, well, I mean, look behind us. I mean, this is all right now. They're just using it for parking, and that's fine. But really, I mean, you could open this whole thing up to its own little kind of interesting restaurant. Turn this all into an outdoor, you know, seating area during the summer months.
You sold me. You've got vision. Should we go check out a few other laneways around the city? Okay, let's go. Let's go this way. Come on.
That was hilarious. I love that they actually clipped that part in.
This is a beautiful laneway. What neighborhood are we in here in Toronto?
We're in the Christie Pitts neighborhood, so just to the north of Bloor Street, just to the north of Christie Pitts Park, which you can actually see down at the end of this laneway.
There's Christie Pitts Bar.
There it is.
Cool. What would you love to do with a laneway like this? How could it be improved?
Well, it'd be nice to see it better maintained and safer space for, you know, whether it's kids to come out and play in it, or, you know, neighbors to just come together sort of casually as they are going to the park, perhaps. You know, maybe it could be a green space that, so you've got plantings, or even this cool paving you can get that's actually moss that you can like paint it on walls, and then that becomes vertical greening in the space. So just basically making the space into one that's more attractive for just habitual everyday use by neighbors.
You hear that, laneway? You're awesome, but you could be better. You could do better, but we love you. Take heed. You've been put on notice. So you can hit up the lanewayproject.ca. They're really doing some interesting things, and as we touched on, that's a picture of Melbourne, Australia.
Oh, yeah, it's gorgeous.
A lot of cities ahead of the curve. It'd be nice to like sip a little coffee and have a baguette in a laneway.
I would, and not like run past a laneway, or I don't know, I get really creeped out. Maybe it's because I'm a female, but I'm very protective of my body. It's scary going in those places.
Well, listen, I bike down them all the time, and I grew up in Ottawa where you don't have a lot of them.
Yeah.
So do check out the website. But let's talk a little bit more now about The Force Awakens. I got to say, the trailer begins